quick debt sizing video walkthrough, how I typically do it, typical breakpoints and things to keep in mind. So I've set up a quick time series. Basically, the only thing that is hard coded is this number, and usually I'll link that to some sort of formula. But basically, everything else in general in everything should either be a link back to input sheet or formulaic generally. So a quick inflation indexer, so F4 to lock this in, and then to the power of our inflation period. So that will just be 1, and then starting in this period, we'll have an inflation factor. Another thing I do is usually go in and collapse all of these. So it's control 0 when you're vertical and control 9 when you're horizontal. And you'll see me do that at the end, but it's just a lot easier to drag everything across. And do is take our CFADs, lock that in, time our inflation factor, and that cleanly gives us a set of CFADs. Then we're going to total everything. It's generally a good way to make sure things are changing. And we're just going to put some quick vanity formatting on things. So basically, this is your unlevered free cash flow. Really important that you're capturing all your maintenance capex, any growth capex that's past your turn conversion period, and essentially going in and this is your fully baked CFADs, and there's nothing that's going to be funded after debt service. So then we're going to go to create constrained CFADs. CFADs, what we're going to do is we're going to put some sort of DSCR. We're just going to do something basic and modify the number so that we're showing all we're going to do is take this divided by this. And what constrained CFADs is basically the amount of debt service you're allowed to go in and incur in each period. We're going to build an interest buildup, and we're just going to assume fixed SOFR with a set margin. I'm going to sum that up. And what that is our interest rate, and then put in a quick year frac here. It's going to be this formula here, but without the prior period addition. So what this is going to do is frac each of our periods. So then we're going to have the all-in interest rate, but this is periodic. And all we're going to do is take this times your year frac, and that is going to be your periodic interest rate. And that's really important because then we're going to create a discount factor here. And we're going to go in and have, so this is, and then this is going to be financial close. And we're just going to call this a flag. Okay. And our financial close is going to be, also have operating period. Operating period. And we're going to call this flag. And our operating period is basically going to be anything past April 1. Okay. And this is just going to simplify things. So all we're going to do is greater than or equal to our operating period. Very simple. And that's going to make a true-false statement. But what I like to do is just clean up the numbers and simply make our CFADs period dynamic so it all flows through. And then our financial close is going to be also April 1, 2026. So greater than or equal to this period and less than or equal to this period. And then we're just going to put the double minus, or some people do times 1. And that's going to give us a 1 in one period. We went through all that brain damage to do one simple formula equals if, and I always do the period in front, equals 1. then 1. Otherwise, this period divided by 1 plus your interest factor. Okay? And what that's going to do, and that's going to give us 1 in this period and 0.98. And you will see very quickly what we're trying to do here. So this creates a discount factor, basically goes and discounts the CFADs or present values them back to our time series. And what's really important is we start discounting immediately the first period where we have constrained CFADs or operating period or post-term conversion. Then what we're going to do is a simple debt size, and all of our debt size is going to be, because this is a total, equals sum product, our discount factor, times our constrained CFADs, equals our debt size. Okay, now this is how much debt we can go put on this financing, assuming a 130 DSCR. Prove that out, that's the right debt size. So we're going to go debt account, or let's just call this simply equals this, very simple. And what this is going to do is when we have financial close, we're going to take our issuance times our financial close flag, very simply going to issue when we hit that financial close. And all of this is going to be dynamic so that if I made July 1st, everything will shift, debt size changes because you have less of an amortization period. All right, so our open is simply going to be the period prior. Pullover is going to be a very simple formula, equals negative max min of this plus this. So basically the balance you have on hand and our constrained CFADs plus our interest. That's the min formula, and this is 0. So basically you can never have negative. This plus this, our opening here period, times our periodic interest. So now we have interest. Our close is just going to be a sum, alt equals. And all of a sudden we have interest. And here's the beauty of the whole thing. So we're going to copy this sum. That's your debt service. And your DSCR is going to be your CFADs, not constrained CFADs, over your debt service. You're going to get it. Pull this over. Okay. And we're going. So now we basically have a complete debt sizing once we pull over our amortization. And the beauty of it, it amortizes perfectly in the last period. We have a 130 DSCR in every period because where I go and run checks usually equals sum of this equals 0. The next thing we want to check for is this 823 constrained CFADs equals our debt service. Basically, we're using all the debt service in every period, and we haven't undersized this. And the way you would oversize this is by messing up your discount factor or messing up your amortization. So if I go in and under discount this by basically putting 1, our debt size is going to go up because our present value, see 617 to 607, but it's not going to fully amortize at the end. So that's an issue. This is not really financeable because if you have this contract, you're not fully amortizing. You're putting a balloon, and you'd need to look through your recontracting assumptions and macro and all this stuff. Generally not project finance 101. A couple things you want to check for. You want to check your debt fully amortizes. Generally, your debt service equals your constrained CFADs. And then in simple, minimum, and average should equal your DSCR you're using. Let me know any questions in the comments. Answer any questions. I'll drop my email in here, and happy to be as useful as possible.